TSN Hockey Insider, Darren Dreger. He joins us. Dregs, we're halfway through December.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your status with Christmas? There needs to be meat in the freezer and booze in the fridge and presents under the tree, and a lot of time that falls on the man of the house.
Yeah, well, I'm okay in the meat department. That's always pretty much settled. The booze will have to be restocked, no question about that. The present situation, terrible at it.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely brutal at it. So, and the problem that I have is I'm heading out west for 4 or 5 days, 17th to the 23rd. So now the countdown is right there, right? Yeah. So I literally have Monday and Tuesday to legitimately Christmas shop, or I get caught in the swell and the crush of Christmas Eve shopping, and I'm not going to do that. So
yeah,
Monday or Tuesday are going to be interesting for me.
I woke up feeling the same pressure today, Dregs. Most things are pretty much in line, but then there's the present situation it's catching up to me.
Well, and I don't know what your better halves are like, but I get the same thing every year. Don't worry about it. What more do I need? I've got everything. Mm-hmm. Now that's worse. Like, give me something specific.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Tell me what you want.
Yeah, I went through a nice stage where the shoveler would purchase her own, but that has fallen off, and now it's left up to me, and it's a terrible existence. Just terrible.
Yeah, because they're testing, they're expecting you to be creative and thoughtful.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at either.
And see, I feel like, because I'm in your spot, Retro, I've got here's a box. I bought this. If you want to just wrap it and just give it to me, because I don't need anything. So I bought this. You can just So if you only give her back the stuff that she's bought for herself, I feel like you're still not off the hook. It's like,
you're off the hook. No,
so you didn't really get me anything. You just gave me the stuff I bought myself. I feel like
well,
it's a trap.
I don't know, because I gave a wedding ring and that got upgraded all on its own without any of my knowledge. So I mean, that seems to
no
be...
kidding.
See, yeah.
I've been married long enough. Would you believe going on 35 years? 35. Nice. Anyway. I mean, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together when we got engaged way back in the day, 1990, 89, something like that. So I felt obligated to upgrade when the finances were justified down the road that you had to upgrade, right? So, but that also felt weird, because it's like, well, I don't know, like, why do we have to do this? But we did it.
I've also walked into stores in the city of Buffalo where we don't live and had people behind the tables.
Oh, we're having some mic cord issues with Retro today. There we go. Yeah, he's a little in and out.
Oh, sorry. I walked into a store in Buffalo and they were like, the guy behind the tills like, yeah, Mr. Warner over here. We got all your stuff's right here.
All your stuff.
I didn't even know I was going in this store. I didn't have, like, this was a random, pop into this store, see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out in a couple of weeks how it all goes out, how it all blows over. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll jump right to it. The biggest news of the day is coming out of Edmonton and Pittsburgh. Finally, the Oilers now, the thing was, they need to improve on their goaltending. They've addressed their goaltending. I guess that's the big question, as Tristan Jarry is in and Stuart Skinner is out, among other things, along with Brett Kulak, and there's some picks in that going. But if you're just an Oiler fan today and you hear the news, you traded for a goalie, Skinner out, Tristan Jarry in, should they feel like the team has addressed the goaltending?
I don't think so. Maybe modestly. I think Tristan Jarry is marginally better than Stu Skinner. I mean, this guy was on waivers not long ago, but in fairness to Tristan Jarry, he's been pretty good this year. So, if he can play that way and, erase kind of the scouting negative on Tristan Jarry, is he has a tendency to let in a bad one or two. So he's going to have to eliminate that. And if he does, then the Oilers take you on that contract. Okay, maybe it's worthwhile. When I first saw it, I went, That seems like an overpay from Edmonton's standpoint. And maybe I'm in the minority here. I happen to like Kulak. I think he's a good defenseman. I don't know, is he capable of being a 4? Is he a 5-6? I think he's capable. I guess Stan Bowman felt like, all right, we're going to get younger, so they acquire Spencer Stastny from the Nashville Predators. How do you analyze this kid? Well, he's 25. I mean, he's played 81 NHL games. Now, somebody close in Nashville says he's a decent player. He's got a limited offensive upside. He's a terrific skater. He defends well, closes well. There's lots of parts of Stastny's game to like. So I guess from that perspective, Edmonton feels like, all right, well, he's maybe not quite as good as Kulak, but as an unrestricted free agent, you've got some property rights here in Stastny, who's a restricted free agent at the end of the year. So then if you kind of boil it all through, if the defense is a wash and the goaltending is just okay, you've basically given away 2 draft picks.
Yeah.
Now, if Tristan Jarry comes in and he solves all the goalie issues or concerns in Edmonton, then it's draft picks that were worthwhile and including in a deal. Otherwise, it's change for the sake of change.
Yeah, it's a second rounder in the did I read this in the 2029 NHL draft? I didn't even know you could draft that far into the future.
Yeah.
We're all going to be dead by then. How did it trade 20?
I hope not.
2029 picks, and it's a 2027 third in the Stastny deal. And you know what? You talk about time flying. I was like, oh, Jarry's a younger goal. Jarry's already 30. It feels like I remember playing for the Oil Kings or whatever. Oh yeah, this makes sense. He's going to go back there. He's 30 years old. This is not a.
Yeah.
I mean, by now we kind of know what Tristan Jarry is, and I think
I think so.
He's an NHL goaltender who the verdict is kind of, I'm not sure he's a full-time, very similar.
Yeah.
Number one, probably you'd love to have him as a 1B or a backup kind of a thing, but I guess that speaks to how long they've been looking to make a goaltending move, and his name has been involved in Edmonton.
I mean, good question. I think so. And you could probably ask the same of the Penguins. The Penguins are still in a race. Yeah, I guess they feel that, Stu Skinner is going to be okay. Do they find a way to move Skinner if it doesn't turn out to be that as they get close to the trade deadline? It'll all depend, or Kulak, for the same purpose, right? And the Penguins inevitably are going to have to get younger, so they're not doing that by bringing in Stu Skinner and Kulak, but they're 2 experienced pieces that probably aren't going to hurt the Pittsburgh Penguins' chances of staying competitive either. But I'll give Edmonton credit for one thing. We don't know how much pressure there was. We know how much pressure there was in the market to upgrade, to find a different goaltender. Well, we don't know that they've upgraded, but they certainly have a different goaltending look now. Does that appease the fan base? It'll depend on how Tristan Jarry plays. What we don't know, though, was how much pressure was on Stan Bowman to make a deal. Again, it just seemed to be every other night the story was revolving around the crease, right or wrong, fair or unfair. So, sometimes you get into the trade game as early as Bowman and the Oilers have, it doesn't work out, but you've got enough time now between now and the March 6th trade deadline to take another swing if it doesn't pan out.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it looks to me like a deal. Was this there a month ago, 2 months ago? I feel like it would have been. I don't know that this is something that's finally come through for the Oilers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you, Dean, but I had an exchange with Kyle Dubas of the Penguins maybe 2 weeks ago, and his position at that point was that he felt like Jarry was still part of the push in Pittsburgh, and I think that maybe he wanted that messaging out there in the media because the offers, frankly, weren't good enough. And I'm sure Edmonton has been circling around Tristan Jarry for quite some time. there was a report out of Edmonton not long ago that basically said the deal was done. Well, yeah, clearly that was premature at the time. And I remember, again, maybe it was around the same time, going to Dubas, and he said, no, it's status quo. That might have been fishing on the part of the Penguins' perspective. So now Edmonton comes up with a package that Kyle Dubas can live with, and they make the deal happen.
As you know, we sit here and we talk an awful lot of Flames, and we were just talking about it the other day. I guess it was the first game of the week, going into the Sabres game. The Flames are 6-2-1 in their last 9. Geez, what? No, you check it again. No, they are. And then 7-2-1. So it's okay. Maybe you need to. All right. Well, they're still second to last in the Western Conference. I just wonder, because now you've had a taste of some good play. They stunk at the start, but now they go on that 8-9 game stretch, and that kind of eliminates and brings you back to where you would have been if you hadn't stunk at the start of the year.
Yeah.
But I do wonder when the sobering maybe starts to hit, because I don't know how much better they can play than they've been playing. I don't think going 7-2-1 in stretches, that's not sustainable. Even the best teams have a hard time with that. I wonder, you hear American Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all of that. They've played pretty well, and they're not gaining any ground. I'm curious what the temperature might be, or might soon be in the Flames front offices.
Well, I don't think it's changed much. I don't, and I don't believe it will anytime soon. Now, sometimes when you get the trades that happened today involving the Edmonton Oilers, that can stimulate the market a little bit, but I don't really believe that applies to the Calgary Flames, because Calgary isn't going to be a buyer, unless something crazy lands in Craig Conroy's lap. I don't think the Flames are going to put themselves in that position, but they can't be a seller at this stage either, because they are still in the thick of things, even though they're near the bottom of the league. But they're going to need some help, and they are going to run out of runway here eventually. And then when you get to that place where you embrace the reality of, okay, we've played really well, to your point, and we've won X number of games. We're now at the 45 game mark of the regular season, and we haven't moved a notch in the Western Conference standings. Is that going to be enough? And it'll be post-Christmas to encourage Craig Conroy to make the bold decisions that we continue to talk about and speculate on. And that's what it's going to come down to. Or, again, let's revisit this. Or it comes down to one of the principal players, one of the key guys, like a Kadri, like Rasmus Anderson. All right. I mean, chances are he gets traded. When the right deal is presented to Craig Conroy, he'll make that trade. But what if Kadri comes to them after Christmas, early in the new year, and just says, spend time with my family, talked it over. It's your call, but if you feel like there is a deal out there where I can land with a cup contending team, then I'd be interested in that. Those are the parameters that change the position of management, I think, in Calgary.
We were talking with McLennan the other day. Just, it doesn't feel like there's that big gulf between the bottom, like the cellar dwellers, and even the wild card. Like Buffalo, they're 5 points out as we approach Christmas, even looking here in the West, which is why I think it is a little tougher for some of these teams to maybe say we're sellers. Is this unusual, or am I just having one of those, am I an old man all of a sudden in a moment? It just feels like there's not many teams that would look at it and say, oh, well, we're dead in the water. We could probably still get hot here for a week, 10 days and be right in the thick of it.
Yeah. I mean, let's use Nashville as another example, right? For weeks we've been speculating on what Barry Trotz is going to do. And we didn't spend enough time, I guess, thinking about the big trade of Spencer Stastny, with all due respect. I mean, we're looking at Stamkos, and we're looking at Marchessault, and the Ryan O'Reilly rumors won't go away. But the Preds have played decent hockey of late. They have. And so, they're right in the thick of the mess as well, where they can't truly be a seller. They can be a seller if somebody is willing to step up and overpay. And that's where we're at. And it's all standings driven. And, look, we'll see what transpires here. There's still a week or so before the holiday roster freeze, but things do tighten this year differently than other years. Yeah, you have your holiday roster freeze that lifts, but then you've got the Olympic roster freeze, which kicks in February 4th until February 22nd. So if you're a team like the Oilers, where you know you're a good team, you don't know that you're a top contender anymore, but you know you're a good team, and you want to eliminate any excuse, give the team in front of the crease a better opportunity. Okay, well, that's why you make a deal like the deals that went down today. But Toronto would love to make a trade. Montreal would love to make a trade. Vancouver is going sideways trying to find another centerman. They're obviously not available, or they're not available at a price that any of these general managers are willing to spend.
That Quinn Hughes stuff is kind of fascinating, isn't it? It's
endless is what it is. Yeah.
It just feels like all the cards are on the table for everyone, the fans, everybody to see that the guy's probably not signing there again, that the destination, the team, of course, is the perceived destination. They would love to have him because of the brothers. It just feels like it's rarely this transparent that everyone gets to see what's going on here.
Yeah, it's a wild one. And I get asked almost on a daily basis, is it more likely that Quinn gets traded in season or less likely now? How do you answer that?
Yeah,
it's impossible. If Vancouver doesn't plug some of its holes and doesn't start winning games and getting back into the thick of things, then it's plausible that he gets traded before the trade deadline. But in saying that, whoever acquires this guy is going to have to rip up their roster, or a chunk of it. Yeah. Vancouver has very specific needs. Center ice, maybe they need a defenseman coming back, plus the futures. So I'm still kind of on the fence, and I shouldn't be, but I haven't got any information from any of the alleged participants that this deal will get done before the trade deadline. So probably more off season.
That's the hard thing too. Okay, so he wants to go to New Jersey. New Jersey'd love to have him, or any number of teams would love to have him. He's probably not going to stay. But if you're running Vancouver, that could all be well and good. Okay, so you're wanting to leave at some point. I can't take pennies on the dollar just because everyone knows the scenario. I need to somewhat hit a home run here. You're one of the best players that we've maybe ever had. You can't just okay, we'll trade you because you're going to go to New Jersey in a year. You need to make a major return on this trade.
Yeah. So this is what permeates into just the spectacle and magnitude of a trade like this one. Again, I believe that he wants to play with his brothers. Most people think that he'd be a great fit with the New Jersey Devils. But a player agent said to me this morning, and not related to either negotiation of where Quinn Hughes might go or not. Doesn't represent Quinn Hughes. Let's make that clear. But he's like, yeah, I don't know. Do you think he wants to go to New Jersey? He's the big brother. So his game isn't going to take away from him. Jack is a forward. Yeah. But his brother, Luke, is a top power play guy for the New Jersey Devils. So does Quinn want to go in there and bump his brother out of the way? Or is he okay with going to Detroit or any other team in the Eastern Conference that is going to express some interest? I mean, that sounds a little bit of a stretch to me. I think given the opportunity to play with his two brothers, he'd do that. And I'm pretty sure Sheldon Keefe can figure out how to make it work for the two defensive brothers. But that's the kind of stuff that we peck away at as insiders and media when you've got such a sensational trade opportunity like the one that exists in Quinn Hughes.
Well, we've talked about it. I don't have a brother, so I don't know what the desire to play with
I do. Do you want him?
And Rhett doesn't like his brother, and you'd never want to play with him. You've kind of talked about that, so I don't really get it. Be like, I'm in Vancouver. I'm in Vancouver. They're in New Jersey. This is perfect. I don't even know if we can get it. We need a connecting flight to see each other. This is terrific.
I remember my brother's older than I am, but so like 6 years older than I am. So I don't remember him as a hockey player, but every time the topic of playing hockey comes up, he says that they used to call him Gretzky in his earlier days. I mean, how do you even respond to that? I just look at him and go,
great.
Okay. I mean, your legs look like you're training them for a chicken. Like, I don't know. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. I see Connor Hellebuyck was on the ice this week. Surgery on the 22nd of November. It's a 4 to 6 week thing. Now I get it.
Yeah.
The Jets are in a bad way. Where is it? I read it this morning. They have 8. What do they got? 8. It's a lot of friggin' losses. That's all you need to know. Yeah, 5 wins in their last 18 games.
Yeah.
They're not going to potentially rush a guy back because they desperately need him, are they?
No. And look, this is one of the qualities of Connor Hellebuyck that I admire most. And he exudes the character and the competitiveness of an old school player. And what I mean by that is, so he's on the ice earlier this week, but he's just doing goalie movements. He's not doing much more than that. And then he amps it up a little bit and he starts taking shots, which is the next test in getting him back in. But even after him being on the ice briefly and going through again what they describe as goalie movements, he essentially went to the brass and went to the trainers and said, yeah, you know what? I feel good to go. Just get me in. Let's go. Enough of this. And they're like, hold on. No, you've got to go through a process of return here. And that's where he's at. And so when was his first practice back? Was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Yeah. And he goes out there, fellas, and he was only supposed to go out there for like 15 minutes. He stayed the entire practice. Felt really good yesterday. And I'm told he feels good today. Now, does he feel well enough to dive into one of the weekend games? I'm not so sure about that. And the messaging I got middle of the week was that miraculously he will be good enough to go next week, early next week, middle of next week. I don't know, but this guy is old school. He pushes to get back in, and he's a goalie, and there aren't many of them around the National Hockey League. Not trying to be disrespectful, but he's a goalie. He's a player who can play with some pain. He's not afraid to play with a little bit of discomfort. So he'll be back soon.
Yeah. My words, not yours. There are a lot of goalies that unless they're just right, if there's any little thing that they are not going to be good to go. But that's 3 weeks. It's a 4 to 6, or you just wonder at some point, even though I don't know how you feel, Connor, but I am the doctor. I can't believe that you are in any shape. I know that the heart is willing, but the body cannot be ready to go back in the net 3-4 weeks after this. I guess 4 to 6 weeks. Kind of crazy to think, but just jiggle your cord, Rhett.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There we go.
I had surgery once, and the next day I went in and I said to the trainers, I'm like, I could play. I could play today. And they're like,
love that.
You might want to throw those pills in the toilet.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Well, okay, so you'll appreciate this then. I don't know if you caught any of the Leafs game last night, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson got tangled up and got hurt in that hockey game. I mean, he struggled to get up off his knees and back on his skates, and then he essentially had to be escorted to the bench and helped to the trainer's room, right? I check in this morning, and a highly reliable source, and he says, would you believe he actually feels pretty good today? And we'll see how the day progresses. But the Oilers are in town tomorrow. He wants to play. So he's going to try and skate tomorrow and see how it works out. I mean, it looked like an ankle sprain, something along those lines to me. But there's still some tough hombres left in the NHL. There really are.
So if somebody says to you, Dregs, I have people coming over. We're hosting Christmas this year, but I'm tired of turkey. I don't do it right. We just want to do something other than turkey.
Oh yeah.
What's the recommendation from Darren?
Well, what are we talking about budget wise here? Like, is it sky's the limit? Like you're not afraid to throw a few dollars out there?
Yeah, we're doing
Dregs.
Yeah, we're doing it ourselves.
Splurge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Man, you cannot beat a beef tenderloin or a prime rib roast. You can't. Now, there's some work that goes into it. It has to be prepped and cooked with attention and detail. And you cannot overcook it, or you're not getting any Christmas dinner. You overcook that bad boy by a smidge, and you should go to jail. But that would be my go-to. One of those real nice beef cuts.
Yeah, me too. I was saying a couple years ago I did one. I thought I had overcooked it, and I wasn't even good. I was like, I don't even know if I want to serve it, because I'm pretty sure the meat probe was telling me something. I'm like, but I had let it sit. I had taken it out. I'm taking it out. I just said it. I cut into that son of a bitch.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Saved Christmas.
Yeah. Little crisp bark too.
Yeah. Are you using the meat slicer for that, or
I haven't had the meat slicer out for a while because the boy moved, right? He went out west. So, we're still a protein couple here. There's no doubt about that. But, the excess where you got the meat slicer out, I'm actually going to Manitoba next week for a visit because he doesn't get Christmas holidays. So I'm not sure how I could do it. I guess I'm not going to pack it and put it on a plane. But inevitably, I think I'm going to gift the meat slicer to Mason Dreger in some way, shape, or form.
I love it. People are in the comments like, ask about the slicers. He still got the meat slicer.
Buddy, it's too old.
That's where I fall in. I don't give a shit about Tristan Jarry trays. Let's talk about meat slicers. That's where we fall in.
Well, can I tell you guys a quick story?
Yeah.
And I don't know, Rhett, I assume as a hockey player, you had countless massages. And I don't want everybody's brains to go there. No, I'm talking about legit. You're hurt. You see the masseuse, you feel better. You got some muscle aches, pains, strains, all of that. I've had a bad back for a while now. First massage of my life this morning. First.
Yeah.
And
oh my God. Well, game changing.
Yeah.
Absolute game change. Now, she did say that, first one always feels good. Probably won't feel great tomorrow. She thinks I'm maybe 3 full massages away from being where I need to be. But she gave me the ultimate compliment. Ultimate compliment. She said, your muscles respond incredibly well to massage. I was like, I mean,
she's upselling you, Dreg. She
Thank
wants you back.
What else can I say?
Yeah, it's like I'm making buns. Everything, it's just so doughy. It's just delicious.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, we'll see how you feel tomorrow. I went for a massage. I had the same thing. My back and my neck was, oh yeah, it feels good. It was one of those things where if you're taking a drink, like out of a can or something, you have to arc your back to, I couldn't even crane my neck back anymore. Yeah. Oh, it's good. Yeah, I can absolutely. By the next day, it's
oh no.
Ooh, we're tight. I need those pills that Warner had after his surgery. I needed some of those. All right, Dregs, be good. Safe trip. So next Friday, are you around? Because
what is that? It feels like that's
19th. We're doing our drinky show, so we might be. Yeah, so we'll maybe move you in the week, or I'll be in touch with you. But
let's touch base.
We'll figure it out. So, are you flying partway, or how are we doing this?
Yeah. I'll fly to Winnipeg, and then I'll rent and make the 4-hour trek, which is taking your life in your own hands. If you've ever driven that strip from Brandon to Winnipeg, I mean, all hell breaks loose there in December. So hopefully it's okay.
There's a town called Eli.
No,
and it could be July, and the road might be closed at Eli between Portage and Winnipeg. You just never know.
I know. It's very true.
Be good, fella. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, same to you guys.
Right on.
Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.